Alright guys, an idiot's guide to doing some wiring. So I've got these LED. I just did a couple of little videos on the quality. These are from Amazon, less than 20 bucks. I'm going to use them as daytime running lights on the handlebars. You might see I've got another video I just posted about universal handguards, both on a Scout and also the Octane. For what we're doing here today, same bike. So the front signals, they use the same connectors. Wiring for the most part is going to be the same. Some small differences, but for the purpose of trying to get lights connected, it's not going to be any different. Now, it turns out these are set up to do daytime running light and signals. Both the Scout and Octane use only two wires. They don't do a multicolor signal, so I'm going to leave the yellow, which is the turn signal source. I'm just going to leave that one set here and I'll tape it off after I get going. But I want to show you I've got an extension wire here because these wires as they came with the lights aren't long enough to go 12 inches down the Widowmakers, the handlebars, into the back of the headlight housing. So I've got way too much here, but I took these off of another set of lights. And so now I got to get these together. I do not solder. It's just not even worth trying. But what I do have are these shrink and seal connectors. So it's got heat shrink. The little white might be tough to see here, but the white piece, as it melts, creates a watertight seal, and then the silver here, that's solder, that's going to melt and then connect the wires, the two ends. So here I'm going to take black. I'm going to put it through until the bare wire is underneath the solder. I'm going to take black, put it through, and again, I've got the black part of the wire. Oops. Let me retwist that here. The black part of the wire, I got to make sure it's tucked underneath the white band, because when the white band melts, oops, let me shorten that just a little bit. When the white band inside this connector melts, it's going to create the watertight seal, and I want that to create the seal over the top of the black sheathing over the wire itself. Alright, so I've got both wires connected in the middle. The black, I can see that underneath the white bands. So now as I heat this, it's going to shrink, seal, and solder all at the same time. Let me see if I can get that close enough to show up. Alright, I can see the clear shrinking. I can see the white bands are starting to melt, creating their seal. Shouldn't take much more heat, and then that solder in the middle will melt. There it goes. There's not a lot. The small size, it's kind of tough. It can be tough, especially with the glare in the background, to see when the solder melts and spreads. Now again, it's hot, so I'm not going to pull on it because I need it to set. So while that's setting, let me get another connector out. Ooh, toasty. Alright, next up, I'll get the white here. Try and do it without burning my fingers on that spot we just heated up. Now this connector kit I'm using comes with a whole bunch of sizes. I could probably go up a size, make this just a little bit easier, but these are 20 or 22 gauge wires, so I want to make sure It seals tight. I guess the red, as I'm looking at the top of the box here, red is made for 18 to 22, so I probably should be using the red. Get it in here just a little bit easier. I'm playing saying it, not doing it. You can see though it's much larger. Here, so let's get, okay. So I've got the red bands now over the white portions of the wiring. I can see that my wires are in the middle, connecting, as long as I hold them there. There we go. You can see that shrink much faster, easier. The red bands have melted. Just need that solder to melt. Like this. Thank you. All right, cool. So I got those sealed, soldered. I already have heat shrink tucked away off to the side here, so I'm going to pull that over. I should probably let that cool just a little bit first. But I'm going to heat shrink these yellow wires so that they're not exposed and don't get a short of any kind. So those will be tucked in here. There we go. Okay. Get that. Got some on the other end here. I can feel as I squeeze that where the solder, it's still toasty. I'm trying to pinch one of these. Fold it over so I can get it tucked underneath. Okay. Just wanted to get that kind of tucked underneath there so it one melts right over the top of the other. Got a little more heat shrink down here. Bend that over. I know you can't see anything I'm doing, it's just hands flopping around. But just pinching it, oops, trying to bend it over so I can overlap the heat shrink just a little bit. Get a better seal there. And one last piece. Squeeze the one before it, right over the top. There we go. So now I got enough heat shrink there just to make sure all of those wires are set. Just basic heat shrink in there. Alright. Logo here at the end. I mean, do I need the heat shrink? No, but these are, again, the reason I'm adding all this extended wire is because the lights didn't come with wiring long enough to get into the headlight housing. And this is way more than enough. But whether I have too much than not enough in this instance. So the heat shrink is really just as I run this down the handlebars. I want to make sure that it just blends in with the rest of the wiring that's on there. Alright, so I got that. I had already started the second light. I think that one, yeah, it's pretty well set. And again, this is going to be in the headlight housing, so I'm not too worried about that. I've got to clip the yellow. Again, won't be using yellow here. Because these won't work with the turn signals. But I've got the black and the yellow, so I got both of those. Alright, so I also, when I ran to the shop, I forgot to grab some new T-taps. Oops. So I've got these used ones. I just need to see if I can connect these wires together, and then I'm going to T-tap them. Before I do all of that, it's really just running wires. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to mount these onto the handlebars. I'm going to run the wiring down the handlebars and into the headlight housing. Once I've got them mounted and kind of run down a little bit into the housing, I'll get the video and just show you how I've done that. And then we'll sit back down and I'll show you the actual wiring into the bike inside the headlight housing so you can see where they're connecting and how I'm going about doing that to get the daytime run lights. All right, be back in a bit. All right, coming back here. So this is how these are going to sit. You know, I'll straighten them out as I go. But so again, it's a 10 millimeter by 1.25 mirror hole on the Scouts and the Octanes. I mounted the hand guards. I've got an adapter post here that's got the 10 times or by 1.25, and then converts to an 8 millimeter, at which these lights, the hole is just right. So now I've got them both mounted to the mirror post. All right, so from there, oh, let me also mention these items from Amazon. There's a hole that comes in here, so I had to put some clear RTV on there. It's a little messy. I'm going to clean that up. Looks like I need to add a little more. Anyway, so I've ran the wire, so it's going to go there, and I'm going to grab some small zip ties, and I'll zip tie it along so it looks like it's part of the rest of the harness here. It comes in through the bottom, right here where the rest of the wiring goes. Here it is. There's a hole here at the back side of the headlight housing. And then here it is sticking out. So there we go. Now let me turn this light on here. So I've been talking about, oh, it's not really showing up real well. So I've been talking about if you swap out your OEM headlight for an LED light, you end up with 2 additional connectors. So this one looks like it's a pink and blue, and then this one's black. So as part of having the, I'm about to add some plug-and-play street pilots LED lights for signals, which rely on connecting to, I believe it's the black. So I've already got that connector. So what I'm going to end up having to do is I'll take of these lights here. I still have to test it just to make sure I have it right, but I think the black I'll just connect to the white here as part of the street pilots, and then I'll take the white wire from these lights and then connect it to the pink and blue wire here. But again, these are constant, so you can use these. I had these wired up to an SAE adapter with a long cable that went all the way back to the passenger seat, so I could have a USB port back there. So these are live. Anytime you turn the bike on, as soon as you've disconnected them from the headlight, you can tap into these and use them as a power source. Again, you have to watch out how much draw you've got on there, but a single USB port, or in this instance, I'm going to have LED lights running off of them. They're not big, bad lights, pulling a lot of juice, so it's not going to be a problem. So think about how you're going to use that. But that's what I'm going to do here is tap into the two of these. Once I figure out which one is which, I'll get back to you. Okay, trying this again here. So I've got myself pretty well set up. So I'm taking the ground from the daytime running lights, using a posi tap. So again, here there's a channel on this black side. You run the white wire here through that channel. You screw the metal section in, and the little metal nipple in there is going to connect with the white wire. Then I'm taking the ground from the daytime running light. This end twists off. You stick it through the end, and then as you go to twist it back on, there's another metal nipple on this side that's going to tighten against those wires. So that gives me a nice, clean, easy way to connect wires without having to do any soldering. These T-tap connectors, you're going to want to get just a couple of those. Now this one here came with the Street Pilot lights that I'm installing. So if you were going to do this where you're just running some daytime running lights up here, you'd want two of them. You'd want one to connect to your black or your ground, and then the other one to your constant or your power, whatever it's called here, and have those connected. They just slip right onto this OEM connector. Very easy. That's all it is. These two are live all the time. Again, as long as you've taken them off of the OEM headlight, you're all set. So I'm going to connect these. I've got power. I've already tested it to make sure that it works just fine. And then at that point, it's really just about coming up here and adjusting the lights so I get them at the right angle. And then I'll zip tie the wires around the rest of the wires down the handlebar. And then I'll tuck the extra wire in here, and I'm set, ready to go. So I'll get this posted when I can. Again, you guys feel free to ask questions on the comments. I'm going to have this bike torn apart for the next month as I'm doing a bunch of stuff to it. So if you're curious, you got questions, something else going on, let me know. If it's easy enough to do, I'll just pull the headlight back off and I'll get back in here and show you what I'm connecting. But so these are your OEM connectors. This is what they would look like here. And again, those OEM connectors for your signals, those are usually all by themselves. These Street Pilots just have a unique connection where they're going to tap in here. So normally wouldn't be using this. But if you want to run some daytime running lights, you're just going to connect the two wires, white and black, get them connected here to a T-tap, and then slip them right on here, and it's pretty well set. So, all right, so I'm going to leave it at that, see what questions you guys have, and then I'll circle back with more videos or answer your questions in the comments, okay? All right, safe. All right, here we go. We got the daytime running lights mounted up at the mirror posts, and the Street Pilot lights plugged in. Those are the hazards running, just so you can get the effect of the sequential piece. But yeah, the DRL, just having those extra lights, I think is going to be helpful. Having a little higher at night, every little bit helps. But pretty easy. Again, you guys, just let me know what you got as far as questions in the comments, and happy to reach out and email and talk through whatever you might have going on. Adding these extra lights really on the Scout and the Octane is really quite easy, and happy to help you with it.